Good evening, everybody. Welcome back, Spartan Nation. It's now time to talk to the one and only, the iconic wonder himself, the great, stupendous, super, perfect, legendary State of Michigan high school football and basketball coach, the great Coach Chuck Grenier. Coach, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. We're talking about the state of Michigan State football. Signing day is coming. They just got their highest ranked recruit, their first 4-star. Your thoughts on recruiting coming?
Oh, well, I thought it was a little slow. Most of them were 3 stars. I'm not. Who was the 4-star? I did not hear that one yet.
Terry Lockett, the wide receiver.
Oh, I thought he was a 3. Yeah, he sounds like a pretty good recruit coming out of Minnesota, which is pretty strange because Minnesota's having a really good year, and I thought maybe they'd wrap up. He was number 3, I think, in Minnesota, listed as Minnesota. Hopefully, the recruits are going to work out. They need to get a little bit more with offensive tackles, I would hope, but I'm hoping really good things for this recruiting class.
Coach, are you concerned about the class, or are you pretty fired up about it?
Well, I'm not fired up. I think they need to have a really good quarterback in there, a top-level quarterback, and again, they're getting a 3-star there. Offensive tackle is a tremendous. I think we're really strong on the talent right now on the team with guard and with center, and tackle is really a need position right now, and I would hope that they would pick up an offensive tackle or two more than they have right now, because it is such a important position, especially left tackle. So, and I think we need a good tight end too, and we'll just see how it works out.
We are talking to the one and only, the great one himself, the great Coach Chuck Grenier. Coach, can anything good come out of the bowl?
15 practices. I think in maybe a look at maybe next year's future quarterback, hopefully, that someone may rise up there that gives us good hope for the spring. I think the position of strength, and I think you saw that if you watched the championship games over the weekend, for the next year is going to be wide receiver. And they look really solid wide receiver, especially with the transfer Reed being eligible next year. I think their receiver group's going to be extremely strong. And what we need to do is find that guy that can get the ball to them on time and get it in a place where they can catch the ball. But that seems the way that college football is going right now. If you have a big, fast, strong receiver group, it really plays havoc with college defenses.
Coach, let's talk about the football team, and then we're going to move on to basketball. What are you concerned most about with this football team?
Well, I think like everybody else, the concern right now is D'Antonio. Is he going? Is he staying? Is he changing how many members of his staff? I know I listened to your shop interview or segment, and so I thought that was really interesting. And the thought about 2 offensive coaches probably leaving, Bowman and Treadwell. If
I can tell you right now,
leave,
I can write you now. I want to make sure in case anyone didn't hear it. We talked about them being asked if they want to retire. I do not expect Don Treadwell will retire at all. Don Treadwell is not going to just quit. So it would. Right. But I'm just telling you, I was told that that's what he was thinking he would offer. I do not believe that'll happen.
Yeah, and that's interesting because I think they really need an offensive line coach, probably the best that they could possibly bring in there, and they need a quarterback coach desperately. I think we can manage what's there. But those 2 positions have been the center of weakness for quite a few years now, and we just don't seem to get the development out of our quarterbacks, and we don't seem to be getting the development out of our offensive line. I think we can go well with Salem. I think Salem can do a good job. Every football play that's drawn up works. When you put it on paper, it works because you block this guy gets the ball, or you throw the ball here. Every offensive play works. The part that really has to be honed down is technique and also maybe blocking scheme, which I think we really have to look at that over the course of the year and see if we can be a little bit more innovative with the blocking scheme. And the number one player on your offense has to be a way above average. That quarterback has to be really good. So I'll be looking forward to seeing that, and I think that's the state of the football team right now. Is D'Antonio going? Is he staying? And if he does stay, will there be coaching changes? And if there's not coaching changes, I think there's going to be a groundswell of problems from the alumni and from the fan base. Because if that doesn't happen, we'll be looking at another mediocre season again.
Coach, let's turn our attention to Spartan basketball. A lot of reasons to be optimistic and excited about this team.
Well, I think there's some players that are starting to emerge. I think Gabe Brown is really starting to come into his own. I think he's got a little bit more work on his footwork and his defense, but offensively, I think he's really starting to find himself a little bit. I really, really like what I saw in Kithier against Oakland. I think Kithier is our most consistent number 4 player, or 4 position player in that. I think he can rebound, he can play defense, and he can get the garbage baskets or the putbacks, that sort of thing. Henry seems to be a little reluctant at this time to become one of the go-to guys. I think him hitting a couple threes in the Oakland game maybe give him a little bit more confidence, but he's the one that it's relying on right now, I think, for the rest of the season. If we can have another outside threat, his game more is slashing and going to the hoop, but if he can become that outside shot along with Brown and with Winston, and maybe with Watts finding his offense a little bit. But defensively, I think we're really starting to pick it up a little bit more. I think Hall has regressed a little bit, and I think if Hall can get on board with really being proud of his defense, I think his defense will turn into offense for him. But and the real concern, I think, is, and I find this hard to believe because it was such a great shot coming out of high school was Lawyer. And Lawyer just does not seem confident in a shot right now. But, his defense lacks a little bit in playing against the bigger offensive guards in the Big Ten. I think if he could become a shooting threat to some degree out there, that would really help the team quite a bit.
Coach, I think considering what this team has went through with Cash's brother, I think Tom Izzo's done an amazing job. Your thoughts?
Yeah, there was something on the board about Winston and not, coming out of the fog on that, and I was really thankful that there was this outpouring of love for Winston with the tragedy that happened with his brother, and everybody was with him and supporting him at that time. But again, I think wherever he goes now, those questions keep coming up to him. And, it's like reliving the day over and over again. So I think the media's got to get past that. I think everybody's got to get past, let him do his grieving and just kind of move on a little bit. But yeah, Izzo's doing a really great job because you've got the situation, the family tragedy with Winston. You've got Langford injured again and may not come back. And now you have Watts, who was supposed to replace Langford. He's gimping around a little bit, and the slow start that they had, losing the 3 games, although they did play fairly well in those games against top talent. But it's one of those things that I think Izzo has got his hands wrapped around solidly, and they're going to be picking up the defense and the rebounding, and that's going to take them into the Big Ten season a much better team.
Coach, lastly for you, with Michigan State football, are you as confident now as you were to start the season? Michigan State basketball, excuse me.
Well, I thought at the beginning of the year they had some gigantic warts, not having enough bigs, losing a lot of offense with the bigs down low. If I thought at the beginning of the year, if Tillman got into foul trouble, they would have lots of problems against teams. I think they're going to be a very good ball team at the end of the year, but I'm not so sure the number one rating in the championship, the NCAA championship, is the goal at this point, unless somebody just catches fire. And it just seems like the outside shooting isn't there. And, of course, you've got to be able to hit threes, and they don't have enough depth offensively under the hoop at the 5 and 4 position. So I think it's going to be a struggle for our NCAA championship, but I think they're going to be a fine team come tournament time.
Totally agree. He is the one and only, the great Coach Chuck Grenier, the good, the bad, and the ugly with Spartan Sports. Man, it's exciting. We'll be back with more from Coach after the first of the new year.